a couple different possibilities of how we were going to present to you guys today, and we wanted the students to kind of give you a little bit of an insight as to what their lives were every day, right down to the introduction. So they put together some introduction that tells you just a little bit about them, and we'll go ahead and start with that and go right into our broadcast.
Our first guest is Terry Keelan.
Terry has been instrumental in getting this production off the ground. As we are starting our broadcast, Terry, can you share what goes into the setup each week? What are all the moving pieces we need to make our production happen?
Each week we have to have students that will film at the games, live stream the games, so we have two different kids recording. We have to know what events there are, and then we have to have students who will put together and cut the footage that we get rid of the ones that we don't want, and put them all together and make our video production.
Thank you.
Now joining us are Seth and Luke.
Your Friday night football games are now live for viewers to watch at home. How long have you been live streaming your events?
Guaranteed it's yours. Alright. We've been live streaming it for about a month, full force, but we had to last year for graduation, and we did some band and vocal concerts before that to get prepared for it.
And how exactly do you get the word out?
We have Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, word of mouth, and KSIB promotes it.
What equipment do you have in use for this?
We have two small cameras, and we just bought the big camera that Tucker's using over there, and we have wireless microphone. We have iMacs and MacBook Pros, and we have Wirecast to live stream all the events.
Thank you.
What a journey this has been. Do you know, Kayla? Our redesigned learning environment has only been there for 2 years. Joining us now are Mr. McDermott and Stephanie Lane from Green Hills AEA.
How did the idea of a new classroom come upon you?
Okay, when I started in the district almost 4 years ago now, Stephanie and I had a long talk about technology in the district and lack of it. We also had a school board that was really interested in moving forward because we did have kids that were simply starving for tech experiences and for learning. We didn't have much, and so that's really where we started.
And how long did the process take?
We laugh because it was a really quick process. We started our conversations seriously in probably April, and by May we had a rough draft and had identified the classrooms that we'd be using and what the project would look like.
And how was Creston chosen for this?
Creston had recently looked at going into a one-to-one initiative, but the thing that struck us most was their focus on the instruction and really changing their community and their culture. And we felt like placing a redesigned learning environment that promoted activities such as this today, that we would really be able to get in there and study what they were doing and be able to advise other schools. So that's kind of how we started with Creston.
What technology is in each 21st century room, and how did you go upon picking out what technology?
I'll do the first part, you can do the second. Originally, the AEA committed several dollars, roughly about $100,000 to equipment. And then the district put in at least that much more in space and furniture and those kinds of things. All those things cost money. One of the key decisions that was made was to actually have this housed in a school building with true student access instead of a really nice room like this located at an AEA where kids would have to take a field trip to go use it. So that was key. But and then we did consider research and development on the AEA side and on the district side. Stephanie, then you can talk about the actual equipment.
Each of the classrooms are equipped with a, I'm not really sure what you want to call it, kind of individual stations. There are stations all around the room. They have writable surfaces, a TV screen that has an HDMI hookup, so we are non-device specific, so that any student can come with any device, or any visitor could come with a device and be able to actively be a part of the room. We have different heights. We have adjustable chairs. There are cushioned couch-like settings, and then there is a main board up the front and a large table for conferencing if there was the need. So,
What obstacles have you come upon while being in the 21st century classrooms?
Well, first off, as you know, the tech is a vehicle, okay? So really, when we talk obstacles in the beginning, it was primarily about people. You have to have the right people in the right positions to get started with the students. And also, in terms of obstacle, I'll say we got a great start, and then by about Christmas time, things had lagged a little. Things were a little stagnant. We were beginning to worry a little bit about where we were going. And then we regrouped, took a new look at some things, and by February the momentum had really caught for us, and things have gone really well since then. But I'd say obstacle-wise, you know, typically people talk funding first for obstacles, and that is an obstacle. But on the school side, we used PEPAL money, and we used instructional support as well as local option sales tax pennies. A lot of school districts are putting turf on their ball fields with that same money, and we're looking at that, don't get me wrong, but those dollars are there to do these types of things also, and sometimes that's overlooked. That might be one of the few places where money is available in our schools in Iowa today. Obstacles?
I don't know if I really, just being sure that having everyone prepared and ready to go, I think were just kind of things that we did to.
All right, now we're going to talk a little bit about where we started off and how far we have come through this process and with the 21st century classrooms. So first of all, how did the year start in the fall of 2015?
Not so great. The equipment, not everything was there, and we had our fall conference, and we had to kind of work our way through it. But things quickly fell into place, and the students adapted, and things started going very well, I think.
Do you think the faculty you have now is accredited to the success of these environments, and why?
I think the faculty and staff had a lot to do with it, but I'll give students a lot more credit than the adults, honestly. A lot of this amounts to adults giving access and then getting out of the way. And I'm sure lots of folks have seen that in their own districts, but that's really, I attribute it to a joint effort, really, between students and adults.
What exactly motivates the team?
Students.
Yeah, I'd say the students provide their own motivation, honestly. A lot of this has to do with students taking certain devices and concepts and just running with those. We provide some guidance and some direction once in a while, but honest to goodness, this is more about the students that provide the energy, and we just enjoy watching it happen.
How do you address hurdles in the room?
I would say that we address them as a team, and we don't give the answers to the students. It is about figuring out where to research. It is about knowing the right people to talk to and making those connections.
One thing I'll add on that too is that students have to put in effort. They can't just show up and hang out. They have to do something, and our expectation is high there. A few students are no longer with the program because they didn't want to put the effort forth. Other students found that they were interested in found projects they were interested in and really caught fire. But there is a high expectation when the students work in this environment.
What are your plans for future redesigned learning spaces, and how many do we currently have?
Okay, we started with one at the high school, one room, one space at the high school. We're calling them studios at this point. Also one at the elementary and middle school. We have a large elementary and middle school that is first grade through 8th grade. We have had one there also. We then commandeered 2 neighboring classrooms to each of those to make 4, and we're now finishing up 2 more spaces that are adjacent to a library at the middle school, elementary middle school. So that will be up to 6 spaces. The next space we're looking at is the high school library, trying to make it more of a cafe setting with more tech access there.
All right, thank you. I see in our audience today we have Mr. McKim, our East instructor.
So, what are your expectations every day for your students in class?
I think in my first year here as the East instructor, it's been a little bit of a rebuilding process. We've had to work really hard at communicating high expectations, which all of you in the room are certainly probably better educators than I am now and then may ever become. But I think one of my biggest strengths is just communicating high expectations to kids, and then like Mr. McDermott said, getting out of their way. One thing that I've tried really hard to do is not have the answers, and to try to simply motivate and encourage them to just keep going. We've had some of the stuff you're seeing today, some of our things that have worked well the first or second time, but we have a lot of examples of things that we're still not very good at and that we are still trying to get better at. So, I think that the best thing that we do is communicate high expectations, expect there to be progress, but certainly don't expect perfection, just that kids have a genuine desire to learn and get better than they were the day before.
As a student of East, we have projects. Some last a week, some last a month, and some even a semester, based on what we have chose.
Here with us today are some of the other East students to share a few moments of their current projects.
First off is Luke with the High School Experience Project.
Well, recently we had some kids, Sarah and Devin, go into the classes at the middle school, and they did some projects that we do here at the high school, and they're just showing them what we do and how to work them. And tomorrow they're also going to come into our classroom and see what we're doing.
All right, thank you. Next we have Seth with the Read poster.
So, reading is a big focus point in our school, and we've had read posters done in like about 2005. And Mr. McDermott came to us and asked us if we could try to revamp these. So we revamped. We've so far got 2 done, and they're promoting reading to little kids in the middle school. And we have all the sports in our high school, and we're now focusing on the band and speech that we have at our high school.
Thank you. And next off, Cammie, if you would come talk about the YMCA and Tyler Insurance.
The YMCA came to our Easton structure, Kim asking for a 10-minute video of how to advertise the Y and how to make people want to go to the Y more. And pretty much all we do is we go to the Y and we get footage of the weight room, the pool, and really just how to promote people to go and have a better life and get better. And the Tyler's Insurance, they also contacted McKim and asked them to really just come and take pictures of the staff and show what they do and stuff like that. So it's also nice having other people come and ask for us to make videos, so that was nice.
Thank you. And Kaden, if you want to come talk about the web projects.
Mainly, we had a website made through Wix, which means it's an interactive site. It was created by one of our students in the East class named Jacob Cook, and it's meant to share our story and really get our word out about how we are broadcasting our Panther TV and how we go about things in our daily classroom. And if you would like to go to that website, it can be found in our conference resources.
Thank you. And also here to share with us what goes on into the production, our main staff of Panther TV, Kaden and Cammie.
Okay, so what Panther TV pretty much is our whole high school. What we do there, activities such as sports and band and color guard, and what we do is just go around getting footage of each event and put good clips together, highlights, and just to promote our high school and share with our community what we do.
Really, a big part of our Panther TV is also the music that we have behind it. And when we're trying to find music that really correlates with the video that we have, that's really a big part. And we try to get video that is going to interest the viewer along with music that's going to keep them interested and maybe really catch their eye a little bit more. And along with that, with our interviews, we interview somebody after each event, really whether they had a good game or they had a good meet when that we're running at. And to us, that's really important because that's getting a student's voice out that may not be in East class, but we may interest them through our interview to come join us and join our movement and see what Panther TV is all about.
There's a lot to do with Panther TV. It's not very easy to make. You have to get good footage, and it's kind of hard to do, so you have to record the whole entire game. And it's not just us that record games, it's the whole entire East class. You can sign up and do it if you want, and kind of make the footage good, edit it, and you want to put transitions in and music and stuff like that. It's fun.
Thank you. So we'd also like to hear from our audience if anyone in the audience has any questions, and if anyone could give us any advice or what you think of what we are doing.
Could you speak a little bit about what maybe you were more specific than I thought, about what equipment you have in the class, in the 21st century classroom? century classrooms for equipment?
Yeah, so in the 21st century room, basically, like Stephanie was saying, we have different like stations with at each station are like raised tables with stools that are different from any other classroom. Like as an East student, it's way more comforting to go into the East room. It's just more fun. There's like bright colors everywhere. There's like lounging seats. So it's definitely a more comfortable atmosphere to be in while learning. But at each station also there is a TV. So like if Mr. McKim is presenting something on, it will not only show on like the big screen, but it'll show on the TVs. So that'll like be easier for us to get at. Or if we're doing a project, we can like stream it on our TVs. There are like smart technology that we have. We have new things such as like the Oculus, and there's just different like little like there's like a smart basketball that you can use, and you can go in and shoot, and it'll, if you like load the app, it'll tell you like what you need to improve on your shooting skills, like how fast you are, dribbling, stuff like that. Like it's insane. There's so much to do, and there's something for everyone. So. Any more?
So there's equipment besides just editing and videoing?
Yes. Yes, the classroom has so much to offer other than just what you're doing for your own project in the classroom.
The classroom is equipped with coding experiences, virtual reality experiences, different engineering, electrical, photo video editing, the production experiences. So there is a lot of overall kind of wide experiences. We just chose the Panther TV kind of as a tool and a vehicle to start to teach the students. Doing the Friday night football game, doing the volleyball games on Thursdays was a hook. The kids were really excited. It's something that they know about. They can talk about it really easily. So we've been teaching them how to use all of this different equipment, what goes into it, what does the production look like. But then we'll look at using these kids to help and inspire teachers in the district. Because our ultimate goal is to create experiences for these kids, but someday they'll be gone and we have lots of other students to impact. So we're trying to change the community and culture of the district. And now we're hoping at semester these kids can go out and mentor our teachers and try to help in making that shift and that change. So, and I think that another thing that has really come out of the environment and the Panther TV is that these kids are learning something every day. It's fun, it's fun and exciting for them. They're nervous, but they have a good time, and they're learning a lot of skills that in 10 years, 15 years will be really priceless for them. So. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I forgot about drones. Yes, we're going into some of the drones, and I think it should be here, where everybody's very excited and buzzing about the drones. And when we get a new technology or place a technology in the room, sometimes we just buy it on purpose, and then it's the kids' jobs. How does that fit into education? How do you see that? What inspires you? What interests you? And then we will kind of plant different things. And Mr. McKim does a really great job of getting the kids to kind of drive there.
So right now, this room is being used. What is it that you're teaching?
Yeah,
I
so
mean, what's your
East is, that's what we have, those are the square blocks. We have 4 sections, 1 day and 3 the other. East stands for environmental and spatial technology. It's basically, it's a really loose, there's not a lot of structure in terms of you have to do this, but basically it's a class designed to serve our school and our community, incorporating technology. And it really, the students' interest is what drives where they take it, whether interest in the technology or interest in something where they can find a way to apply technology. But it'd be impossible to sit up here and talk about what goes on in class, because every class and every group is doing something different. And then some have success and some need some structure to get started. But I try to really limit the amount of structure so that it's genuine and authentic.
But at the same time with East, it's a national deal out of Little Rock, Arkansas. I think we're the only school in Iowa that has it. But there is a set curriculum, and there's an intense amount of training for facilitators. And it's very worthwhile, but it's also a very expensive endeavor for school districts. But we found the benefits far outweigh.
So where does this give your kids credit for, like,
Like I know
You
somebody.
are.
Like I know somebody. So where does this give your kids credit then, like for graduation requirements or whatever? Where does that fit? Is this a math credit? Is this a science credit? How does that work?
Elective.
Elective.
It's an
Okay.
elective credit.
And then I know you're on the blog, so how many of those what I'm asking is there, okay, so if you're a freshman and you come in and you're really interested in this stuff, and can you do it all 4 years? So you can,
Ideally, like I said, it's the first year for us, and it's, I think that there's definitely a rebuilding thing. We have to get it
right.
to be a stronger program, but I think that ideally, you bet, we'd like to get to the point where kids are in it for 3-4 years and can really take on leadership roles within the program as well,
Right.
teaching.
And this is probably the 10th year that Creston has the East program. So first year for Ryan. But it's just we have, with the new redesigned room and all the money we put into technology and the furniture, it's just a different look to it. Not completely, but different focus or different areas.
We kind of wanted to see what would happen if you took a program like East and then placed that type of, it's a very project-based program.
Right.
It's about, projects and community and service and, what are the kids' passions and interests, and then we placed them into kind of this new, I guess, loose environment, just kind of see how that redesign looks, so.
And also an advantage, like you asked if a freshman could be in it like all 4 years. An advantage with that is like some kids may have a project that will take them literally all 4 years to do. It just depends on everything. And like when I start the new 21st century rooms, my thing was like I want to come up with a project that no one else is going to have that's really going to benefit like our school or something like an organization in our school. But I was like, I don't know how to run any of this. So right now is when students are starting to take on their own projects, and a lot of percentage of that is just researching on how to build your project up. And so Mr. McKim and Stephanie said, the first part of the year so far, we've learned how to do things such as coding. One day we learned how to code an app, we got just a little touch of what it's like. So for my project, I want to code an app for FFA that allows students to receive notifications and be involved with the organization to hopefully raise our attendance in FFA. So, yeah. Does anyone else have any more questions or input? Okay. So now we're going to put a little bit of what we do in our production in East.
sure for anything, but I don't know. I just didn't do what I thought I was going to do today.
The grade first one felt great. I'm really glad everybody came out to support us, and for the first time winning, I'm really glad it was a whole. Hopefully the momentum carries on to Saturday and we play right up first, so it'll be tough, but hopefully it carries on.
I couldn't do without any of Jackie's sets or any of the background because that's all how I can get them. And so I just want to thank my whole team for all the support and that even if I like shake one or take one out, that they're always there to back me up.
It was okay. It was kind of a few hills that were rough, but overall I felt pretty good. Okay, well, otherwise than that, so Danielle, you ready to vote? Yes. What are you going to do during this week? Are you going to improve your time? What's your goal?
Yeah, well last year I did really bad and I kind of walked and stuff. So this year the goal is to do pretty okay.
Cody Tanner, please come to the office.
Hey, how would you feel about the meeting?
Hey, stop.
How long did that video take?
Let the meeting begin.
Okay, thank you. There was a question wondering how long the video took you guys.
Usually we try to, on Friday, it's impossible for us to get it to that week, so we usually put the Friday game from the previous week onto the next week, and it usually starts Monday, and we try to get it done by Thursday at seminar time, and we send it out to each of our seminar teachers for them to share, so all the students can see. Really, it's just Monday through Thursday. We just kind of, any class period or any free time we have, we go and get as much done as we can, and it just all starts from there, from step one to finishing product.
They're on a block schedule, so about an hour, 15 hours, depends on what other things Mr. McKim has for us today, so.
And with that block schedule, that hour and 15 minutes, it's almost as soon as I get in there, I get on the computer and I'm working the whole time. I mean, there's very rarely any downtime that we spend sitting, talking to other people. It's almost always editing video, cutting it up, and creating the final product.
What software do you use to edit?
Final Cut Pro.
Do we have any more questions at this time? Today's production gave you a glimpse into a day in our world. Our stories report our hometown sports events today. We chose these because that's what interests us. Our teachers have bigger plans for the crew. We have already started working with business partners and plan to work with teachers to help them create blended experiences in their classes. We hope you'll follow our progress and invite you to come visit or contact any member of our crew. Thank you.